Alright, 2.4 cell transport. Okay, this is the overview. Learning objective, okay, for today. Overview the various transport mechanism across the membrane. Explain the various transport mechanism. Okay, passive transport. Okay, we have passive transport, simple, which involves simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion and osmosis, and active transport, which involves sodium potassium pump, and bulk transport. Bulk transport, which involve endocytosis and exocytosis. Right? Okay. So the overview. Okay, the overview. Okay, for movement of molecules or substances in out of the cell, for individual or molecules and ions, and also bulk transport. Individual molecules and ion, we have transport across membrane. Okay, and then for transport across membrane, we have two types. We have passive transport and also active transport. Passive transport is down the concentration gradient. Kita tak guna follow Kita tak guna follow concentration gradient. We use down concentration gradient. Okay, for down concentration gradient, we have three types. We have simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion, and osmosis. For each type of transport, you need to know about the definition. You need to know about the definition is very important in 2.4. Okay, and active transport, which against the movement of molecules against the concentration gradient, which mean from low to high concentration. Okay, low concentration to high concentration. Against the concentration gradient, in our syllabus, we only learn about sodium potassium pump. Okay, sodium potassium pump. So that is transport across membrane, which involve individual molecules and ions. But if it involve bulk transport, okay, kalau dia melibatkan bulk transport tu adalah a large quantity, okay, large quantity of materials which involve food vacuole or vesicle formation. Okay, we have two types. If the molecules, if the material move into the cell, it is known as endocytosis. Dia masuk ke dalam sel, endocytosis. Okay, and endocytosis can be subdivided into two. We have, if it is involved large solid food particles, okay, large solid particles, contoh sel tu kalau dia nak makan ataupun sel tu nak engulf bakteria, proses endocytosis tu kita panggil dia sebagai phagocytosis. Okay, phagocytosis. Okay, and the other types is if the cell want to ingest the dissolved material or fluid, it is known as pinocytosis. Okay, dia senang nak ingat macam ni. Kalau phagocytosis tu sel makan. Kalau pinocytosis sel tu minum. Okay, makan minum. Okay, alright. Kalau itu move masuk ke dalam sel. Kalau move out of the cell, kita ada exocytosis. Okay, move out of the cell, we have exocytosis. Okay, alright. So passive transport, we have three types. We have diffusion, facilitated diffusion, and osmosis. Okay, diffusion, facilitated diffusion, and osmosis. So we're going to take a look at simple diffusion first. So what is simple diffusion? It is a movement of molecules down its concentration gradient. Okay, movement of molecules down its concentration gradient without using energy through a selectively permeable membrane until equilibrium is reached. Okay, so pergerakan molekul menuruni kecerunan konsentrasi. Okay, dia tak, of course lah kalau dia turun, maksudnya from high concentration to low concentration, it does not need energy. Okay, it does not need energy. You can write movement of molecule from high concentration to low concentration, but we prefer, we prefer for you to write movement of molecules down its concentration gradient. Okay, we talk about concentration gradient, not just concentration. Okay, so example of molecules that can pass through small molecules non-charged molecules and hydrophobic molecules. Okay, as for example, if you look at this diagram, you can see that non-charged molecule and small molecules can pass through easily. Okay, can pass through easily. It can slip between the phospholipid bilayer. Okay, phospholipid bilayer. Okay, senang. Right. So the characteristic of molecule that cannot pass through the plasma membrane by simple diffusions are ions or charged molecules, large polar, small polar and hydrophilic molecules. So these are the molecules that cannot pass through. So when they cannot pass through, they need a certain type of transport. Okay, they need transport protein. Okay, they need transport protein protein to move from one part to another part, from in to out, from out of the cell into the cell. Okay, so that part of transport is known as facilitated diffusion. Okay, facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion is a movement of charge polar hydrophobic molecules down its concentration gradient without using energy. Okay, without using energy through a selectively permeable membrane aided by transport protein. And that transport protein is either carrier or channel protein until equilibrium is reached. So facilitated diffusion, it needs carrier or channel protein. Okay, for molecules like charged polar hydrophobic to move. Okay, to move down its concentration gradient. If you notice in this definition, in this facilitated diffusion, the definition of molecules, okay, the definition of molecules is specific. For simple diffusion, we just say that movement of molecules. But for facilitated diffusion, it explains what type of molecules. That's how you write definition. Okay, you must explain. You must uh, elaborate in details what type of molecules that can pass through. Okay, charged polar hydrophobic are the molecules that can pass through, that can move down its concentration gradient through a selectively permeable membrane added by transport protein until equilibrium is reached. Okay, so how they move? Okay, if it involve channel protein, it will move. Okay, kalau dia melibatkan channel protein, dia hanya lalu saja. It will move. Okay, if it is involved carrier protein, it will bind. Okay, that is different term, different keyword. Channel protein move, carrier protein bind. Okay, channel protein move, carrier protein, it will bind. Right? Okay. That is facilitated diffusion. Then we move on to osmosis. Okay, osmosis. Osmosis is the definition is of osmosis is a movement of water molecules from higher water potential region to lower water potential across a selectively permeable membrane until equilibrium is reached. Okay, dia adalah pergerakan air. Okay, osmosis dia melibatkan water molecules. Okay, movement of water molecules from higher water potential region to lower water potential. Okay, to lower water potential. Higher water potential region adalah water potential yang tinggi. Okay, water potential yang tinggi adalah kosong kilopascal. Value of higher water potential adalah kosong. Mana tunjuk. Pure water. Pure water, air kosong kita tu, yang kita selalu minum, air kowe ke, air kuku tu, air kuku tu ke, pure water tu, itu dia punya higher water potential adalah zero. That is the highest. Tak ada siapa-siapa pun yang boleh lebih daripada kosong. Okay, sebab dia pure water. Okay, dia pure water. So highest water potential adalah zero. Air akan bergerak from higher water potential to lower water potential. So air akan bergerak Ia daripada water potential yang tinggi kepada water potential rendah. Okay, tak apa. Nanti kita tengok. Kita tengok dulu apa itu water potential. Okay, water movement and the concept of water potential. Water molecule possess kinetic energy. In liquid or gaseous form, they move about very rapidly in random direction. Okay, dalam bentuk liquid ataupun gas, dia akan bergerak dengan laju lah. Kalau gas lagi laju dia gerak. Okay, disebabkan kinetic energy. So water potential. What is water potential? It is given to the tendency for the water molecules, okay, for water molecules to enter, okay, water molecules to enter or leave the solution. Dia nak masuk ataupun dia nak keluar. Okay, water potential adalah tendency for water molecules untuk masuk ataupun keluar solution by osmosis. Okay, by osmosis. Alright. Okay. Water potential is a measure of the free kinetic energy of water molecules in solution. Dia kira berapa kinetic energy yang free. Maksudnya berapa water molecules yang boleh bergerak. Okay, dia kira. Water molecules ni daya pergerakan dia dalam satu tempat tu berapa. That is water potential. Okay. So katakanlah, okay, I have a beaker right here. Okay, I have beaker A. Okay, I have beaker A. So I put pure water in beaker A. Okay, I put pure water in beaker A. Then I put solute. Okay, I put solutes into the beaker. Okay, I put solutes into the beaker. So what happened is, my beaker, my pure water, my beaker which consists of pure water, the water potential will become negative. Okay, negative. Why? Because effect of dissolving solutes molecule, okay, effect of dissolving solutes will reduce the concentration of water molecule. Okay, bila kita letak solutes, concentration air tu akan berkurang. Maksudnya daripada kinetic energy yang bergerak laju tadi, bila kita letak solutes, dia akan bergerak dengan perlahan. Okay, concentration of water akan berkurang. Katakanlah saya, sekejap lagi, lepas habis kelas ni saya nak buat Milo. Saya buat Milo, saya buat dalam mug. Okay, so saya buat Milo, saya letak dulu pure water. Okay, saya letak dulu pure water. Now, my water potential is 0. Okay, 0. Then I put Milo. After that, I put Milo. After I put Milo, the water potential, maybe it will become negative 10. Negative 10. It will be reduced. Okay, sebab saya dah letak solute tadi. So, dia dah reduce. Then, I put sugar. Okay, I put sugar. Okay, saya letak sugar. Saya letak lagi sugar. Mungkin dia akan kurang jadi negative 20. So makin lama dia berkurang. Lagi banyak awak letak solutes, dia akan lagi berkurang. Okay, itu adalah konsep water potential. Katakanlah, okay, back to our definition, osmosis is the movement of water molecules from higher water potential to lower water potential. Okay, from higher water potential to lower water potential. So I have beaker A and beaker B. Okay, beaker A, the water potential is 0. Okay, because it is pure water. Beaker B, it is solution. Okay, it is some solution. And the water potential is negative. After a few minutes, air daripada pure water ni, dia akan bergerak masuk ke dalam beaker B. Why? Because water will move from higher water potential to low water potential. Macam saya cakap tadi, water potential paling tinggi adalah 0. So of course lah, beaker A ni water potential dia lebih tinggi compared to our beaker B. Okay, compared to beaker B. That's why water from beaker A will move to the beaker B or will diffuse to beaker B. Okay, disebabkan water potential. Right? Okay. Two components of water potential. This is formula on how to calculate water potential. Okay, kita ada solute potential and pressure potential. Okay, kalau soalan tanya, okay, dia tanya calculate the water potential. Soalan tu 3 markah. 3 markah per first mark is when you write the formula. Okay, first mark is when you write the formula. Second mark is when you show your calculation. Third mark is your final answer with the unit. Okay, if the question write unit, contohnya K kilopascal, KPA, you must write unit. Okay, kalau dia tak tulis unit, tak payah tulis unit. Okay, so this is formula of water potential. Alright, solute potential. Apa itu solute potential? Solute potential is always negative. Okay, solute potential always negative. Why? Due to the presence of solute molecules. Okay, solute potential always negative due to the presence of solute molecules. Okay, and a cell or a solution that contain a lot of solute molecules is said to have a low solute potential. Okay, setiap sel dia akan ada solute. Setiap solution akan ada solutes. That's why dia punya solute potential akan jadi rendah, akan jadi negatif. Okay, dia akan jadi negatif. That is solute potential. Tak berapa penting sangatlah sebenarnya. Okay, what pressure potential? Apa itu pressure potential? Pressure potential refer to if a pressure is applied to pure water or to a solution inside partially permeable bag, water potential increase. Kalau kita letak pressure kepada pure water or to a solution inside partially permeable bag, water potential will be increased. For example, kita tengok dalam in plant cell. Okay, in plant cell. In plant cell, as water diffuse, okay, bila water masuk, once water diffuse into the plant cell, solutes in the cell subs make solute potential lower. Okay, the cell content will be expand. So bila water masuk, solutes in the cell subs make the solute potential will become lower. Cell content akan expand. Okay, dalam ni dia akan expand. So what happen is plasma membrane will press against the cell wall. And the cell wall later it will develop inward pressure. Okay, dia akan lawan balik dia punya pressure tu. Itu adalah pressure potential. Okay, itu adalah pressure potential. So katakanlah kita nak kira, kalau kita nak kira water potential, you must include solute potential, value of solute potential and value of pressure potential. Okay, for example of this question 1, plant cell A has solute potential negative 300. Okay, pressure potential is 200. Okay, itu plant cell A. Okay, plant cell A. Okay, sekarang kita tengok dulu plant cell B. Plant cell B, okay, has a solute potential negative 400 kilopascal. Pressure potential 100. So Alan nak predict the direction of net movement of water. Dia suruh awak kira, dia suruh awak bagi tahu air akan bergerak dari mana ke mana. So first you need to find the value of water potential for cell A and value of water potential for cell B. Okay, so kalau awak kira what is water potential for cell A? What is water potential for cell A? Kira kalau water potential, kan nak kira water potential, solute potential plus pressure potential. So solute potential dah bagi, pressure potential pun dah bagi. So apa water potential untuk cell A?
Negative 100 macam.
Negative 100, thank you Alia, very good. Plant cell plant cell B?
Negative 300.
Negative 300, okay, negative 300. Okay, so sekarang air akan bergerak dari mana ke mana? Air, use the, so the movement of water is from cell
B to B.
A to B. Okay, A to B. Awak tengok macam ni, antara 100 dengan 300, antara negatif 100 dengan negatif 300, yang mana paling dekat dengan zero?
Negative 100.
Yes, negative 100. Thank you Atira. Negative 100. So bila negative 100, inilah yang akan lagi ada high water potential. So air akan bergerak daripada high water potential ke low water potential. So air akan bergerak daripada A kepada B. Okay, so try buat soalan ni. Saya bagi masa 3 minit. Setiap soalan 1 minit. Cari water potential untuk setiap cell and state the direction of movement. Okay, untuk sel A. Sel A dengan sel B, dia air bergerak pada mana ke mana?
A ke B?
A ke B? Iman, betul?
Ha.
Betul. Betul ke semua orang? Dapat jawapan yang sama?
Sama.
Okay, good. Sel C, sel D.
Remain
Remain the same lah. Sebab dia dah reach equilibrium. Dua-dua dah zero. Dua-dua sama dia punya value. Okay. So remain the same. Sel E, sel F.
F to E.
F to E. Dapat ke F to E?
Dapat.
Okay, very good. So itu adalah soalan water potential. Okay, saya dah bagi dah soalan water potential dekat dalam Google Classroom. Okay, nanti tolong buat hantar pada saya. Alright. Active transport. Okay, active transport is kita pergi pada seterusnya lah. Okay, the active transport, the movement of ions or molecules across the plasma membrane against its concentration gradient. Okay, dia melawan arus lah against its concentration gradient. For example, is sodium potassium pump. Sodium potassium pump is we want to pump out 3 sodium. Kita nak bawa keluar 3 sodium, bawa masuk 2K+. Okay, pump out 3 sodium, bring in 2K+. Okay, so how it works? First, okay, 3 sodium ion bind. Okay, sebab kita guna bind lah sebab kita melibatkan carrier protein. So 3 sodium ion bind. Okay, bind to carrier protein. After it bind, it will cause phosphorylation by ATP. Maksudnya ATP ni, adenosine triphosphate ni, ATP kan, ATP ni dia akan buang satu fosfat menjadi ADP and phosphate. Phosphate tu dia bagi kepada carrier protein. Itu adalah phosphorylation. Phosphorylation tu maksudnya kita tambah fosfat. Okay, contoh yang ni, saya pegang highlighter ni. Okay, ini adalah molekul, ini adalah carrier protein. Carrier protein. Saya tambah fosfat. Ini adalah proses phosphorylation. Okay, katakanlah saya buang fosfat. Dephosphorylation. Okay, tambah fosfat, phosphorylation, remove phosphate, dephosphorylation. Right? Okay, kita akan jumpa lagi perkataan di phosphorylation. Alright, so once phosphorylation occur, it will cause the protein to change its conformation. So from like this, from this state, from this state, after phosphorylation, it will become this state. Okay, daripada macam ni dia akan open. Bila open keluar, so what happen is 3 sodium ions will be expelled. Okay, 3 sodium ions will be expelled out of the cell, outside the cell. Once 3 sodium ion expelled out of the cell, 2K plus will bind to the carrier protein. Okay, 2K plus masuk. 3 sodium dah keluar, 2K plus masuk. Once 2K plus bind to the carrier protein, the K plus binding will trigger dephosphorylation. So what happens? Once K plus bind, it will remove the phosphate. Okay, remove the phosphate, or we call that as dephosphorylation. Okay, the loss of phosphate group will restore the protein to its original conformation. So bila phosphate dah buang daripada open macam ni, dia akan open kepada bawah macam ni. Okay, so then the K plus will release inside the cell. The cell cycle, the cycle will be repeat. Okay, that is sodium potassium pump. Okay, we move on to the bulk transport. For bulk transport involve large quantities of food and materials. Okay, we have endocytosis and exocytosis. Endocytosis, cells take in substance. Okay, cells take in substance. Dia bawa masuk. Okay, cell ambil bawa masuk dalam sel. So it involve vesicle formation. Okay, involve vesicle formation. So how vesicle is formed? Vesicle is formed due to invagination of plasma membrane. Okay, invagination of plasma membrane. Maksudnya plasma membrane dia move ni. Plasma membrane, it will move towards the particles, the substance. Okay, it will move towards the food particles. That is invagination. Once it form, okay, once it move, okay, it move the plasma membrane, okay, by the process of pseudopodium, okay, and then the membrane will pinch off to form intracellular vesicle. Dia dah surround the food particles, and then it will pinch off, and then it will form like this. Okay, dia akan form intracellular vesicle. Maksudnya vesicle yang akan digunakan dalam sel. Okay, for endocytosis we have phagocytosis and pinocytosis. Phagocytosis. Phagocytosis involve solid food particles. Pinocytosis involve dissolved materials and fluid. Okay. Alright, phagocytosis, what happen is cell will ingest. Okay, cell ingest solid particles. Okay, cell ingest solid particles by wrapping pseudopodium around the particle, forming food vacuole ataupun phagocytic vacuole. So sebab dia melibatkan food, okay, dia melibatkan solid food yang besar, dia akan melibatkan lysosome. Okay, it will involve lysosome. Phagocytosis will involve lysosome. Okay, because lysosome will hydrolyze and digest the food. Okay, unlike phagocytosis, pinocytosis do not involve lysosome. Okay, do not involve lysosome because it's already ingest dissolved materials. Okay, dia makan benda yang dah dissolve. Okay, dissolved materials. So dia tak perlu lah. Okay, dia tak perlukan lysosome untuk break down the materials. Okay, because it's already simple. Okay, for example of phagocytosis is phagocytes engulf foreign substance like bacteria by phagocytosis and amoeba engulf food particles. Okay, that's an example of phagocytosis. Okay, for example of pinocytosis is the reabsorption of amino acids by the proximal tubule in the nephron. Okay, in the nephron. Itu adalah pinocytosis. Is that reabsorption of amino acids. Okay. Okay, exocytosis. Exocytosis adalah dia bawa sel tu keluar. Okay, dia bawa sel tu keluar. Maksudnya, vesicle or vacuole fuse with cell surface membrane and the contents are released. So tengok kat sini, ni adalah vesicle. Dalam vesicle tu mungkin ada hormon, mungkin ada enzim, mungkin ada neurotransmitter. And all that contents, will be released outside the cell by the process of exocytosis. Okay, so what happen is this vesicle, it will fuse with plasma membrane. Sebab plasma membrane ni kan fluid mosaic model. So this vesicle, it will fuse with plasma membrane and then the contents will be released outside the cell. For example, the secretion of enzyme from pancreatic cell or hormones from endocrine glands. Okay, and just you can include the short notes lah. Okay, you can include the short notes. Endocytosis, okay, the short, saya beritahu tak ada kot dalam lecture note. Endocytosis and exocytosis are the process that require ATP. Okay, endo and exo are the processes that require ATP. Okay, ATP. Okay, dia bukanlah masuk, dia tak termasuk dalam active transport because it does not involve molecules or ions. It involve bulk transport. So bulk transport, sebab tu dia endocytosis and exocytosis is included in the bulk transport. Okay, but they need energy. Okay, endo and exo, they need energy for it to occur. Okay, especially exocytosis. Alright, this is the overview of cell transport. Okay, overview, the type of transport, the direction, the requirement and the example. Okay, and I think that's all for topic 2. Do you have any question? Do you have any question? Right, tak ada. Okay, so ada masa ni lagi. Okay, saya ada masa lagi. So saya nak awak, okay, I want you to complete the worksheet that I give you in Google Classroom. There are 2 questions. There are 2 questions about cell transport. Okay, so dalam masa berapa minit? Almost 20 minutes. Awak boleh tak awak buat and then awak submit before awak start kelas pada pukul 9. Boleh ke?
Boleh, Madam.
Boleh Okay, submit. Kalau apa-apa boleh message saya. Kita end call dekat sini lah sebab kita end meeting, end kelas pada sekarang ni. Okay, sebab ada yang guna data ke apa ke, so kita save data. So kita end kelas kat sini. Ada masa ni awak buat soalan and then submit terus pada saya. Ada apa-apa nak tanya, boleh message saya. Okay? Boleh?
Boleh.
Alright, okay. Thank you guys. Okay, see you next week. Bye. Assalamualaikum. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, Madam.